Hey Bougie click. Welcome back to my channel, where we get real, raw, and honest, but always with a sprinkle of kindness. Today, we're tackling two sides of honesty: how to speak the truth in a way that's kind and empowering, and how to deal with those who use so-called brutal honesty as a weapon. You know the type. They're the ones who use their envy to cut others down, disguising their jealousy as constructive criticism. It's not about being helpful, it's about being cruel. We're breaking down why they do it, how to spot it, and most importantly, how to rise above their toxic energy. So, if you're ready to dive into the art of truthful kindness and learn how to thrive despite the haters, grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's do this.
I'ma make you a fan.
The dark side of honesty: envy disguised as constructive criticism. Honesty is a virtue celebrated for its ability to build trust, strengthen relationships, and propel personal growth. However, there's a fine line between honesty that uplifts and honesty that wounds. Sometimes, the truth is wielded not as a tool for growth, but as a weapon for control. Envious individuals, in particular, have perfected the art of masking their jealousy in the guise of brutal honesty and unsolicited advice. Beneath their critiques lies a covert attempt to humble those they secretly wish they could be. When honesty transforms into cruelty disguised as brutal truth or tough love, it ceases to be constructive and starts venturing into mean territory. Let's unravel the nuances of honesty, constructive criticism, and the not-so-subtle art of being an unhelpful jerk. Constructive criticism: honesty with heart. Constructive criticism is the epitome of kind honesty. Its aim isn't to tear down but to lift up, offering observations that inspire improvement while maintaining respect and empathy. This form of honesty is marked by three key characteristics. Intent matters. Constructive criticism stems from a genuine desire to help. It's motivated by concern for the recipient's growth, not a hidden agenda. Tone is key. How feedback is delivered matters as much as what is said. Constructive criticism is framed with kindness, avoiding harsh words, sarcasm, or passive aggressiveness. Specific and actionable: constructive feedback targets specific areas for improvement and suggests practical steps forward, ensuring it's actually helpful. For instance, telling a friend, "Your presentation could be more engaging if you added examples," is far more constructive than bluntly saying, "Your presentation was boring." The former focuses on improvement, the latter is just criticism for criticism's sake. The mask of brutal honesty. Brutal honesty, on the other hand, often masquerades as integrity but lacks the goodwill essential to true honesty. People who pride themselves on telling it like it is frequently cross the line into meanness, wielding truth as a weapon rather than a tool for growth. Here's how brutal honesty tends to fall short. Unnecessary harshness: instead of softening the blow, brutal honesty revels in its sharpness, often leaving the recipient feeling humiliated or attacked. Unasked for opinions: sharing unsolicited critiques can easily veer into intrusiveness. If no one asked for your advice, maybe they didn't need it. Hidden jealousy: sometimes, people use brutal honesty to humble others they're envious of. They cloak their jealousy in truth-telling, undermining confidence rather than fostering growth. Let's be real: telling someone, "That outfit makes you look ridiculous," without invitation isn't honesty, it's cruelty wrapped in unnecessary commentary. Envious people use this kind of blunt critique as a way to subtly, or not so subtly, sabotage others. Honesty doesn't mean being an asshole. Contrary to popular belief, honesty doesn't have to hurt. It's entirely possible to be truthful without being mean. What separates constructive honesty from destructive honesty is kindness. Honesty should build bridges, not burn them. It should empower people, not diminish them. Being kind and honest looks like this. Empathy first: put yourself in the other person's shoes before delivering feedback. How would you want to hear the truth if roles were reversed? Balance positives and negatives: pair feedback on areas of improvement with acknowledgement of strengths. This ensures the recipient doesn't feel wholly criticized. Know when to hold back: sometimes the kindest thing is to keep your opinion to yourself, especially when it's not constructive or relevant. Remember, truth bombs are only valuable when they're dropped with care. Truth delivered without tact is just rudeness in disguise. Envy, the hidden agenda behind brutal honesty. Envy is a shadowy emotion, often lurking behind a facade of politeness or false concern. People who are envious struggle to confront their own insecurities, so instead, they fixate on the perceived flaws of others. This is where brutal honesty comes in, offering them an outlet to project their envy while maintaining plausible deniability. Their critiques often serve a dual purpose. Undermine confidence. By targeting someone's achievements, appearance, or personality, envious critics attempt to erode their sense of self-worth. Elevate their own ego. Through judgmental observations, these individuals position themselves as wiser, more insightful, or superior. For example, a colleague who says, "You did great on that project, but I think you're overestimating your abilities," isn't being helpful. They're cutting you down to size in a way that serves their own insecurity. The danger of unsolicited advice. Unasked for advice is a hallmark of envious criticism. It often comes with an air of authority, as if the giver knows best, even though no one invited their opinion. Here's how this kind of advice tends to play out. Passive aggression disguised as concern, "I'm just looking out for you," or "I'm saying this because I care," are common phrases used to soften the blow of harsh critiques. Nitpicking success. Envious individuals focus on minor imperfections to distract from someone's larger accomplishments. Unhelpful and overreaching. Instead of constructive feedback, their advice often feels like an attack with no real solutions. For instance, telling someone, "If you keep dressing like that, people might not take you seriously," isn't advice, it's judgment cloaked in a faux concern. Brutal honesty, a misguided excuse for cruelty. The phrase brutal honesty often implies integrity and directness, but it's frequently used to justify mean-spirited remarks. Envious individuals love brutal honesty because it allows them to disguise their jealousy as a personality trait. They frame their criticism as, "A favor, you'll thank me later," is their rallying cry, as if their cruelty is somehow a gift. A virtue, they claim, "I'm just being honest," as though the act of truth-telling absolves them of responsibility for their words' impact. A reality check, they insist they're offering valuable perspective, even though their remarks are often skewed by personal bias. At its core, brutal honesty is a defense mechanism, an attempt to deflect attention from the envious person's own shortcomings by shining an unforgiving spotlight on others. Recognizing and responding to envious criticism. How can you spot when envy is hiding behind a mask of advice or honesty? Look for these telltale signs. Unprovoked feedback. If no one asked for their opinion, it's likely coming from a place of envy rather than genuine concern. Excessive focus on negatives. Envious critics rarely acknowledge strengths or successes, they zero in on flaws. Subtle or not-so-subtle put-downs. Their critiques often leave you feeling smaller rather than supported. Responding to envious criticism requires a firm but gracious approach. Set boundaries. Politely but firmly let them know their feedback is unwelcome. Don't internalize. Remember that their remarks reflect their own insecurities, not your worth. Turn the tables. If appropriate, ask clarifying questions like, "What do you think I should do about that?" This often exposes the lack of depth in their advice. The power of truthful kindness. Honesty can be wielded as both a gift and a weapon. Some people use it recklessly, cutting others down under the guise of telling the truth, while others refine honesty into an art form, delivering truths with empathy and kindness. When done right, truthful kindness has the ability to strengthen relationships, build trust, and uplift others without compromising honesty. Contrary to what many believe, being truthful doesn't require harshness. It's entirely possible, and often more effective, to pair honesty with kindness. Truthful kindness acknowledges the importance of transparency while considering the feelings and dignity of the person on the receiving end. It's about delivering truth in a way that resonates and empowers, rather than undermines or humiliates. Let's imagine a friend asks for your thoughts on a project they're working on. You notice flaws that could hold them back but also see potential in their efforts. Instead of saying, honestly, this is bad, you've got a lot of mistakes, truthful kindness would sound like, I see the effort you've put into this, and it's inspiring. There are some areas I think you could refine to make it even better. Want me to help you brainstorm? This approach doesn't sugarcoat the truth, but it provides constructive feedback without tearing them down. Honesty can shine brightest in sensitive moments, those times when the truth is hard but necessary. Let's say a close colleague confides in you about a decision they're struggling with, and you genuinely think they're making the wrong call. Instead of bluntly saying, you're making a huge mistake, truthful kindness could sound like, I respect your decision, but I want to share my perspective because I care about you. Have you considered alternative approach? I just want to make sure you feel confident moving forward. Being kind while honest establishes a foundation of trust. People feel safe coming to you because they know they won't be judged or belittled. When kindness accompanies truth, it shows respect for the other person's emotions, encouraging open communication. This dynamic fosters stronger relationships, whether in friendships, professional settings, or family interactions. Some skeptics argue that pairing honesty with kindness dilutes the truth, but that's a misinterpretation. Truthful kindness is not about hiding the facts or sugarcoating reality, it's about framing the truth thoughtfully. It recognizes that words have power and wielding them carelessly can cause unnecessary harm. The goal is to communicate the truth in a way that motivates and uplifts, rather than crushes or isolates. Conclusion: honesty should build, not destroy. Honesty is a powerful tool when used with kindness and integrity. But envious individuals often distort it into a weapon of humiliation and control. By wrapping their jealousy in the guise of advice or brutal honesty, they seek to humble those they wish they could emulate. The key to navigating these dynamics is to recognize the difference between constructive criticism and destructive envy. True honesty uplifts, it doesn't tear down. Honesty can inspire transformation, mend relationships, and foster personal growth. But honesty is only meaningful when it comes with kindness and intention. Brutal honesty and unsolicited critiques are often masks for envy or a misplaced sense of self-righteousness. They add no value to the recipient's life and only sow seeds of negativity. So, the next time you're tempted to tell it like it is, pause and ask yourself, is this constructive criticism, or am I just being mean? The answer could save you from crossing the line and make your honesty something others appreciate rather than dread. Honesty doesn't have to hurt. When paired with kindness, it transforms into a powerful force for connection, growth, and trust. Truthful kindness recognizes the importance of transparency but balances it with compassion, ensuring that the truth uplifts rather than destroys. It's not always the easiest path, but it's undoubtedly the one that leaves the most lasting impact. Being kind while truthful isn't a weakness, it's a superpower that can change lives. So, let's wield it wisely. Alright, my truth-loving legends, that's a wrap. Hopefully, this gave you some fresh perspective on the art of being both honest and kind. Remember, honesty doesn't have to cut, it can lift, empower, and connect. So, let's use our words wisely and build each other up, not tear each other down. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights, sass, and deep dives into all things real talk. Until next time, stay kind, stay honest, and stay unapologetically you. Peace. What do you think? Is brutal honesty a sign of envy? Let me know in the comments section. Stay bougie. Follow and support me. All links in bio. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check description for more info. New episodes every day.